Hey everyone, welcome to this week's review of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 6. This week, for Episode 3, the queens are selling their services with commercials for their side hustles. Hit the subscribe button and like this video, and don't forget about the notification button so you can follow along weekly. Now, before we get into this episode, I just want to address two things quickly. Firstly, my review for episode 2 was unfortunately blocked for copyright infringement, which just means I need to be a little more careful about how I edit these videos. Secondly, you might be wondering why my face looks like this. I've been feeling very inspired to try some different things and step outside of my comfort zone. So for this video, I did some makeup inspired by the amazing Drew Holiday. So now, for the reason why we're all here, 11 queens walk back into the workroom after Jiggly's elimination. And clearly Raja is still feeling thrilled about her tie in the lip sync with Brooklyn Heights and winning $20,000. Raja says that the reason why she saved Yara was because of her success in the first episode. And as they're about to look through the lipsticks and see who voted for who, Trinity is looking mighty uncomfortable. Everybody seems to have voted for Jiggly to go home, except for Jiggly herself, obviously, and Trinity K. Bonet. She says that she voted for Yara because she didn't work as hard during their time to prepare for the last challenge, and she felt that Jiggly did. This was something that in my last video, unfortunately you don't get to see it, I definitely agreed with this. I like Yara a lot more, but she was overconfident and didn't use her time well, and I personally would have voted to have her go home. So I completely understand what Trinity is saying here, even though the other queens, specifically Sonique, think that Trinity is just resentful because Yara had voted for her in the last challenge. I imagine that Trinity is feeling really nervous and isolated from everybody, since she did mention in the last episode that she doesn't really know anybody who's there outside of watching them on Drag Race. She's not friends really with any of these queens. She doesn't have anyone's numbers. She hasn't really worked with any of them. She's the only girl there from season 6, so that's gotta be an uncomfortable place for her to be. So the next day, everyone is standing around the table waiting to find out what the challenge is gonna be for this week. And Silky suggests that they should go door to door handing out pamphlets like Jehovah's Witnesses, or as she called them, Ruhova's Witnesses. I think this would be a hilarious idea. I think it would be really cute to watch the queens just kind of walk around Hollywood Boulevard dressed up in their best evangelista, that's not the right word, their best evangelical. Have the queens walking around Hollywood Boulevard in their best evangelical realness and hand out pamphlets for RuPaul's Drag Race and the return, possibly, of RuPaul's Drag Race live in Las Vegas post-COVID. So the queens receive the message from RuPaul, and I personally think that her video message sounds like a recruitment video for some kind of drag call girls. And then RuPaul walks into the workroom looking like the gayest Victorian vampire in her floral suit with her suede blue scarf. I don't think that this is a bad thing. And RuPaul tells the girls that they will be filming commercials for their side hustles, and then lines them all up from Ginger to Eureka. I mean, from shortest to tallest. So the first team is Ginger, Akiria, Jan, and Silky, and they are creating a commercial for a Rent-A-Queen service. Team 2 is Trinity, Pandora, Yara and Raja, who are going to be drag fixers. So Rue suggests here that they're like scandal fixers or something along the lines of people who help cover up controversy. However, I don't think they really got that message clearly. Not that it doesn't work out in their favor in the long run, but I feel like they just did something a little bit different from what RuPaul was suggesting. And Team 3 is Kylie Sonique, Scarlett, and Eureka, and they are drag exorcists. For the commercial challenge, Pandora is feeling extra confident because she's produced commercials before for a local TV company somewhere in Rochester, New York. So that's good for her. I'm glad she's got that confidence. If I were here, I would still be a little bit nervous since she is on a team with Yara, who is absolutely insane, and a little bit disconnected. And Trinity is also on this team, and without knowing how she's grown, I would be worried about the excuses that she used to make on season 6. Pandora is also the one who interprets the video as fixing people's drag problems. The other two groups seem like they're all working well together, and this is especially since Silky has learned how to shut her mouth. I was not a fan of Silky on season 11 at all. I thought she was too loud, I thought she was too confident, and now that time has passed and season 6 of All Stars is airing, I have to say that she has grown on me a little bit. So Scarlett and Kylie are exorcising Eureka's demons with literal exercise. And it is so damn cute when Scarlett confidently confuses bicep curls for crunches. Watching the girls get ready for this challenge, I really thought that Team 1 would do the best, but Ginger definitely got way too carried away with the amount of ideas she had. I think for the commercial, Trinity's look was not flattering at all, especially when they got the full pan view and you could see her wearing those flat little slippers. Eureka's possessed demon look was amazing. Really well done, great detail in both the face makeup and the vomit. I was definitely laughing every time that I saw her, and especially when she broke the bed. Even funnier than that, though, was when Ginger Minge was doing her Richard Slimmons look, with her stomach out and the voice change. My doctor told me that I gotta lose a few pounds. I really did enjoy RuPaul's look this week on the runway. Typically, while I'm watching the show, I am very critical of Mama Ru and the outfits that Zaldi puts her in. And I found out that for the Redemption runway, production actually tells the queens ahead of time what looks they have to redo. Kylie comes out on the runway in her Lady Gaga Redemption look, and I would have to say she looks a lot better. However, I don't feel like this is something that screams Lady Gaga to me. Scarlett's look is absolutely stunning. It's probably one of my favorite looks of this entire season so far. And I think she looks like she belongs up on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Eureka's faux fur look was good. I thought because it had less face makeup than the first time around, it didn't seem as elevated, or something was missing from it. However, I'm sure it was really nice for her to be able to walk the runway in this look without having a pair of crutches. Raja's look was not bad at all. I was a fan of this for sure. However, I didn't hate the runway the first time around. I thought the burlap pants were pretty well constructed and still looked feminine. And being a little bit of comic book nerd, I really liked the reference of her being female Groot. So overall, Raja's look was definitely a lot better, and I thought it was fascinating to find out that the headpiece was made with real leaves. I hated Pandora's look. I thought the flowers were too small, the dress was baggy, and I actually preferred the Muppet fur look that she had in All Stars Season 1. I really liked Yara's look. I thought it looked really nice. However, I'm not a huge fan of asymmetry, so I didn't like it having only one leg and the cape over the side. I think it would have looked at least a little bit better if the cape was on the opposite side that she had the legging on. I thought Trinity's runway was gorgeous. I thought she looked like some kind of vampire enchantress. Something about her makeup really reminded me of a George Alano. I think it was the way that she did the bold white line under her eyes. Jan's look was good. It was like a fancy soccer mom who has a sugar daddy on the side. I really wish for Jan's look that she still had the Letterman jacket and that it was like an oversized kind of hip-hop style looking Letterman jacket. I also really liked Ginger's look. I thought it was worlds above what she did the first time around. The hair fit her a lot better. I really liked the pants. I liked the ruche on the pants, and I liked the way that it didn't start at the waist as opposed to Michelle Visage. I thought it was really cool the way that it had a bit of a bodysuit that was structured and had the butt cheeks and the crotch and the breasts. Oh, and I also really liked the crown for a mask. That was also a really nice detail. And next, we had Silky come on the runway. And this look, in my opinion, had nothing to do with the original look. It might have had a bit of a connection to the original look if it was blue, like the original look was, instead of red. But besides having an afro, these were two completely different looks. And finally, Akira walks out onto the runway wearing an actual real caftan, and she looks amazing. I kind of agreed with Ross Matthews about how upsetting it was the first time she walked on the runway and she was wearing a bodysuit with wings. Now, for the first commercial, we have the Exercise Queens. So I really liked this commercial. I thought it was well done. I really liked the way Kylie played her character. I thought she seemed very ditzy and like somebody who would work at a gym but doesn't actually really work out. It had a cool bit of an 80s vibe to it, which I always enjoy. And I thought it was weird how Kylie occasionally would put on a southern accent and then it would disappear while she was doing the commercial. I think that really added to the entire experience. Eureka's performance was great, and I also think Scarlett did a really good job. I really liked how when Eureka went from being possessed and in bed to working for the company, her makeup didn't change and she still had vomit splattered all over the front of her. Almost like they didn't fix the possession, they just got her to work for the company. The second commercial that we watch is with the Drag Fixers. And I was actually surprised by how well they did and how much I enjoyed the commercial. Again, I'm a big fan of an 80s feel, so having that poppy geometric background for their commercial worked well for me. I thought it was hilarious the way they kept fixing everything with tape, and Trinity just ended up having her shoe stuck to the bottom of her foot the entire time. Fix it, bitch! And finally, we have the commercial for the Rent-A-Queen service. It was a really, really weird commercial. There were clearly way too many ideas going on, and I felt really bad for Silky that she just kind of disappeared from the full pan view where they had all the queens lined up trying to sell the product. She was there at the beginning of the video, and by the end of the commercial, Silky was nowhere to be seen. So Trinity wins this week, and I think she was really deserving. I really felt for her when she teared up and started crying on the runway because she had never won a challenge in RuPaul's Drag Race history. And again, she pulled through, and it was really nice to see her do well. All 4 members of Team Rent-A-Queen are in the bottom. However, back in the workroom, It's kind of weird because Akira and Silky basically nominate themselves to be the ones to be voted for. They full on admit that they did a poor job and they praise Ginger for the work that she did. Ginger did do a good job acting in this challenge, but she had a heavy hand in directing, and that's, I think, where things fell apart. Oh, y'all wanted a twist? Well, All Stars Season 6 gets sickening when they go to reveal who the lip sync assassin is, and when the curtain is pulled away, there's nobody there. And then Laganja Estranja flies onto the main stage into the splits, gagging everybody. I'm curious how much of that was planned. In Untucked, they show her kind of behind the stage, and it doesn't look like they have anything set up for her to jump off of, so I feel like it might have been a last-minute decision. I also want to say congratulations to Laganja for coming out as trans. I'm very, very happy for her now that she's living her true life, being her authentic self. She seems a lot happier, she seems a lot more confident in who she is. Good for you, Laganja. Trinity seems extra confident, all up until Laganja flies on stage and slams her into the ground. And the song that the queens are lip syncing to this week is Physical by Dua Lipa. This is definitely one of my favorite pop divas. I am a huge fan of Dua. I feel like this season really hasn't let me down, and they've done something kind of addressed to me specifically every episode. In the first episode, we have Yara walking into the workroom with her pup mask. In the second episode, Brooklyn Heights, my favorite drag queen probably from the entire franchise, is the lip sync assassin. And for this third episode, my favorite artist is the lip sync song. I would say Trinity definitely fought really hard in this lip sync, but she didn't really stand a chance against somebody who's as well trained in dance as Laganja is. So Laganja wins, and we find out that everybody voted for Big Silky Nutmeg Ganache to go home. Rue seems very disappointed by this decision as she gasps when Silky's name is called out. And of course, at the end of the episode, we see Silky finish packing up all of her drag, just to be told by RuPaul that she has an opportunity to play the game within a game. So, join me next time when the queens perform in the All Stars 6 Hall of Fame halftime show. Until then, bye-bye. Oh my. When did I start turning it this hard with my makeup? That blending is spectacular. Ooh. Work, bitch. Special shout out to Drew Holiday. Thank you for inspiring this mug.